But first, let's go back in the current downward trend in Bitcoin. And if so, like the long-term strategy would be to hodl, but is there a trigger point on the downside where you would be forced to sell BTC to cover operating needs and growth ambition?
So I think you're asking a lot of great questions here. Because we've been around in the industry for so long, we're one of the oldest players in the space. This isn't our first rodeo in terms of this isn't our first bear market. So when we did our raise in September of 2021, we raised...
Hi, it's James, and my personal mission is to awaken, enlighten, and inspire others in the fields of business, health, and longevity. In this video, I interview entrepreneur Kim Hayden about her experience with resiliency and how it has helped her throughout her career. She shares some great insights on what resiliency means to her and how you can apply it.
Really forced me to learn a lot of online applications and has actually accelerated my company. The Resilience series is Jack Canfield put out 24 books for Chicken Soup for the Soul, and I'm going for 30. I want to share the word, spread the word of resiliency in every niche in life. I want to see a lot of women were hurt through the pandemic financially, and I want to see that change. I want to see the mothers of tomorrow's leaders be able to provide financially for them. Where my background is, I've always been in sales.
There's really four main ways that inflammation manifests in the body, and inflammation is at the root of really all disease, right? Like disease. And for most people, that seems to be through the gut, like digestive issues or constipation or diarrhea or bloating, or through the skin, like rashes or acne or eczema or easy bruising. The third is through the lung barrier. So like we're seeing a lot of that with COVID right now, right? Or like asthma or...
Hey guys, thanks for watching this.
This is when Russia invaded Ukraine.
If you could tell Putin one thing, like if you were recording this for Putin, what would you tell Putin this morning?
I'll tell him, I know that you're pretty rich, but that does not mean that you can just take another country and then another one and start an entire war that's gonna kill a bunch of your citizens. I don't care how much you like the Soviet Union, you're still killing Russian citizens. You're just throwing your soldiers into the battlefield for them never to come back. And still, Putin, you would probably be like, oh, well, cool. And yes, the Soviet Union is powerful, but Russia's big enough. It's the largest country in the world. You don't need to continue invading countries.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this clip. If you would like...
Years now, and it's incredible. The students that go through my program, for the first time, they are on the track to one day become financially free. So it's pretty exciting.
That's very hard to save your way to $1 million. What is your approach in that regard?
Okay, so first of all, most people avoid finances.
Hey guys, my name is James, and I'm on a personal mission to awaken, enlighten, and inspire others in the fields of business, health, and longevity. My guest today is a specialist in removing toxic chemicals from your house, and I'm a big believer in environmental factors being the number one influence over one's health.
Buffalo.
Oh, when was that? How long ago was that?
These past 3 decades, and what I did was I was always helping people, helping them figure out how could you potentially have gotten cancer, or what could be causing cancer in your house, what carcinogens are in your house, or what are you eating and what are you putting on your skin. So friends, family, people would just come to me and I'd help them go through their house because...
This one was a fun one.
Completely crazy and nihilistic. You know, how would a hostage negotiator approach something like that? I asked him about Russia.
That's a great question. That was one thing. As a police officer, 99.9% of the time, everything you did face to face with another human being, whether it was you're pulling a car over to give it a tip for speeding, or, you're answering a radio run for a fight or a domestic situation at somebody's house, that's face to face. That's human interaction. As negotiators, we weren't face to face. We weren't with the person. Could be blocks away talking on the phone. We could be between a locked door and us, whatever it was. So you had to figure things based on what people were saying, what they weren't saying, and how they were saying. there were many times, I'll be honest with you, as a negotiator, that, we'd spend like 2 hours over here talking about whatever, and the real problem was over here. And we had
Training and eliciting pain. The population prior to the late 1980s who suffered from chronic pain. Right. So that you just described 130 million Americans and 1 billion people worldwide. That's why chronic pain exists. You just described the fact. So you first were given, they went the concept of let's give him some anti-inflammatories and see if it reduces.
And with Howard Berg, the world's fastest reader, and he had this to say.
But they don't tell you why you hear a song once on the radio and you know it your whole life. Then you read the 7 habits of highly effective people and you don't know any habits the next day. So it got up to 80 pages a minute. I retained it. I did the psych program in 1 year. I took the graduate record exam in biology. I reviewed 48 books in 3 nights.
It found that women that had used these household chemicals at the level of the self-reporting in the study, found that it did, in fact, provide an outcome of an increased risk of breast cancer. So I'm just going to let you kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey through breast cancer.
Yes. And I mean, I think that's exactly what you've touched on. It's the fact that a lot of these industries, whether it's cleaning products, beauty supplements, they're not regulated. And there's a lot of ingredients that can be put in that, whether it's for preservatives for the shelf life or just in general.
See, this one is a great value brand, and it says it's made in the United States, factory certified, whatever that means.
Well, I'm not sure what that means.
But it sounds good. So this one's just like a generic glass cleaner. It's ammonia free, but there is no ingredients on it.
Okay, that's a little alarming. Ammonia free is good. I think the Environmental Protection Act, the EPA, is...
It's a sick blend of capitalism and socialism.
Okay.
And let me just sketch what the medical industry is for a moment, and then you can dive into what areas interest you most. We have 50 to 70% of U.S. citizens taking prescription drugs, which is absurd on the face of it. We have the most criminal industry in history manufacturing these drugs, and that's Big Pharma. They lost $86 billion in judgments and settlements to civil plaintiffs and U.S. federal prosecutors since 2000, which is astounding. It's astounding that they weren't broken up and corrupted by the plaintiffs and by the federal prosecutors. But essentially, the federal prosecutors cycle between some sort of pharma payoff or pharma job and the government service. The payoff since 2004 for
the adult U.S. population, they're currently using antidepressants. Now, this isn't to slam antidepressants or anything like that. I certainly have run that whole cycle of things in my early adult years whenever I was putting my full trust and faith in the U.S. healthcare system. And of course, things change and people become more enlightened to other ways of living. And that is my goal, is to awaken you and inspire you to better ways of living your lives. And today we're going to be talking about plant medicines, fungus, myself. And I mean, I've got a whole closet full of stuff, but here's what's in your...
People are familiar with Mucuna.
But it also has AGP choline. So, choline is a neurotransmitter that is used in lots of different things. And I'll take choline with different things to support, the different nootropics that I try. But I'll take, what am I taking? Alpha GPC? It's similar.
Oh, yeah. A-glycerylphosphorylcholine. Very good. That's actually, to me, the one that is the most bioavailable.
So, just because I'm a nerd, maybe talk about one of these. What is this?
Yeah, there's a few others. Celestris paniculatus. There's Centella asiatica. Centellica is also known as holy basil. No, sorry, not holy basil. It's known as gotu kola. It's also a balancer of emotions in the body. Bacopa and Celestris both have the ability to increase brain fluid, so more blood movement.
Yes, so I started my practice. At this point, it would be 15 and a half years ago. So this September, we're celebrating our 16th anniversary. For probably the first few years, I was doing what all hypnotists learn how to do through the courses and the books and the workshops that they take. But obviously, I started, I guess your audience can't see, but I started fairly young. So I kind of had the ambition to see if I could have a career path where I'm adding original thoughts and ideas.
I'm going to be talking about the benefits of colostrum, what it is, what it does, and how it can improve your health. Hi, my name is James, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the benefits of colostrum. Colostrum is a nutrient-rich milk produced in the first of finding ways to sell something or ways to close a deal with someone, but it could be anything: marketing, product development, customer service. In my own past experience, I started out in broadcasting. I worked in restaurants and coffee shops. I've also worked in educational settings, teaching adults how to obtain their high school equivalency. These are all skills that I've learned on my journey to where I am today. These are skills that stack. Once you found your passion, don't be afraid to take risks. Money doesn't actually exist the way that you think it does. The entire system is based on debt. This is actually debt. It's called fractional reserve banking. It's the system that most banks use where they're allowed to have only a fractional amount of the money in deposit on reserve. You can thank Richard Nixon for this because he took us off the gold standard back in the 60s. The gold standard was meaning that every dollar was backed by actual gold in the Federal Reserve Bank. Curious what's in Fort Knox? Certainly not enough gold to back all of the money that we have in circulation. It was passed in Mexico. We're talking about third world countries that are passing laws to block out any kind of advertising to kids. So I posted a few weeks ago an image of a box of Lucky Charms in Mexico, and it looks like it's completely redacted. It's magically redacted. It has it all over it. No logos, no mascot. It just says something like Lucky Charms, but it's like real plain text. They're not allowed to do any kind of.
James Miller. Okay, perfect. So James Miller is very interested in so this is the cutest gift shop. James Miller has the cutest gift shop, and you should order now for Father's Day. This is the cutest gift shop, and Meet Kevin is looking at and shouting out the cutest gift shop by James Miller. System, or let's see, Spotify scan code. Oh, that's cool.
Before, I had a company called The Cutest Gifts. We had large Facebook following on a page called I Want to Marry a Country Boy. And what we did was we worked for the first 6 months of 2022 to really get the business arranged in a way that we could sell it. So that's what we did. It took about 3 months, and I learned a lot of lessons during that period. It allowed me to really take time